True Sicker. It is already the month of July, Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. A reminder, I host a website. Um, there's a nice app for it. And if you do not get notifications for my videos, I almost always post when I go live on there, and the notification on the app works every single time. So it'd just be wonders if all of you guys who are constantly saying I didn't get a notification would get on the website. One way to access it is just go to freetofindtruth.com. It is free to use. Another way, if you have a smartphone, is to download the Mighty Networks app. And then once you download it, it's free. You search for the Gematria Effect News community. And I know over the years people have set up fake ones. But once you go in there, it should be pretty obvious if you're in the real one. For example, the latest post on there will be the notification for the live stream. So freetofindtruth.com or download the Mighty Networks app and look for the Gematria Effect News community that has that red pill with the GEN. Again, good way to get a notification when I go live. And there's plenty else you can do on there as well. There's unlimited storage. Again, I continue to debate on getting rid of this website because it is very expensive and almost nobody uses it. But part of the reason I keep it is for those who do want to follow the work and get notifications. So that is a reminder. And also in news you won't see in the U.S. today, the latest out of the war in Gaza. Today, Israel banned formula for babies to Gaza. And they continue to say it's not one of those genocide words or things. But yeah, what is banning baby formula? Is that what Hamas is living on? Is that how Hamas feeds themselves, with baby formula? And remember, that nation is largely paid for by this country, including all the bombs being dropped over there. In fact, in the last hour, one of the latest headlines, 25 homes bombed in Gaza today. I'm sure they were Hamas hideouts. It is pretty disgusting. And I'll remind everybody the way the war began. Bibi got his wish exactly 282 days after coming back into power. Learned that gematria thing. It starts to make a lot of sense why it happened exactly 282 days after he returned. Again, they called it Israel's 9/11. It was on the anniversary of us invading Afghanistan after 9/11. Jokes on jokes. But yeah, that is the latest out of Israel. Baby formula banned in Gaza. In the U.S., the Republican Party, once known for at least pretending to want to shrink government budgets, like in the time of Ronald Reagan when he said, I want government so small I can drown in a bathtub, only to make it way bigger than it had ever been before. At least they pretended back then. Well, maybe in a way they still pretend. They make all this hubbub about Doge and all this government cutting, and then next thing you know, the first ever $1 trillion military budget, and then the one big beautiful bill, just the cheesiest name ever, just like Donald Trump is a very cheesy car salesman type that appeals to only low IQs. But anyway, one big beautiful bill. Today, the Senate passes it on the first of the last 184 days of the year. And notice the gematria of one big beautiful bill, 184. What a day for it to pass. And the leader of the GOP in the Senate is Mr. John Toon. Is it Tooney? I always forget how you say that guy's name. Tooney. He's like a cartoon. Anyway, it's exactly 25 weeks after his birthday. And Trump equals 25. It is 2025. Run it in reverse. Of course, Trump's 47, like we told you years in advance, why he'd be reinstalled in this election. And Trump wants this bill passed on the 4th of July, the 4-7 date. And he's had a lot of 47 rituals since returning his number 47. He wanted the Panama Canal back 47 years after it was given away. He passed his first tariffs exactly 47 weeks after the anniversary of the publishing of Wealth of Nations, the book that talks about why tariffs should almost never be used because they're destructive. Of course, in Gematria, tariffs is 47, and a number of other things. Been a lot of Trump 47 rituals but he wants this one big, beautiful bill through on the 4th of July. People will be drinking and partying and not thinking about what this will do for future tax rates and continued expenditures for the American people. Just a reminder about him wanting it on the July 4th date. July 4th is the 185th day of the year. His full name, Donald John Trump, has that 185. We know who runs the puppet strings for Trump. It is the Jesuits. Today is exactly 33 weeks after the Superior General's birthday, so it means the 4th of July falls 33 weeks and days after his birthday. Again, just big federal news, this incredibly expensive bill, exactly 33 weeks after the Superior General's birthday. Federal Masonry, secrecy, and order, all 33. Remember, the rites of Masonry have a lot to do with Jesuit priests over the years. This nation's essentially the Jesuit Masonic Alliance. Again, it's the secret societies that run the nation, not the puppet politicians who are installed and selected, not elected. As we've covered so many times, but yeah, one big, beautiful bill passing the Senate by the numbers. And we'll read more about the one big, beautiful bill. Also in the news today, Jimmy Swaggart, dead at 90. And his birth name is Jimmy Lee Swaggart. He wasn't born James. He was born Jimmy. Jimmy Lee Swaggart, 71. He's dead on what day? July 1st, 7-1. Dead at 90. Just remember, Holy Bible has that Gematria 90. Obviously, this man had the Holy Bible in his hands a lot as a televangelist. He was born on the Ides of March, the 74th day of the year. Perfect day to talk about the false name Jesus. Jesus equals 74. Again, like cross, like Messiah, like gospel, like parables, all in the most simple cipher. All 74, along with English, Gematria, energy, occult, Jewish, holiday for Holy Day. Speaking of ours, on July 4th, again, Masonic 74. Don't forget Independence Day. When you apply numerology, is also 74. Just like when you apply numerology and run the alphabetic order in reverse, Jesus Christ is 74. But yeah, Jimmy Swaggart, born on the 74th day of the year. And he's now died 108 days after his birthday. And again, 108 has a lot of spiritual connections across many different faiths. Of course, many spiritualities are based in the stars, in the sun and the moon, in astrotheology, and I'd say no doubt Christianity as well. I know that annoys all. No, it's just a coincidence that in this English language we refer to him as the Son of God, and Son is also male offspring. But remember, the sun, the earth, and the moon, they have this connection through 108. They say the diameter of the sun is 108 earths, and from the earth to the sun is the diameter of the sun 108 times. And from the earth to the moon is the diameter of the moon 108 times. And they say it's that mathematics that allows for eclipses to happen. But yeah, 108 days after his birthday. And the thing I forgot to mention about this connection with the Superior General is, again, the Society of Jesus equals 71. Actually, look at his name. It's actually the same as the Society of Jesus forwards and backwards. It's 71 and 91. Jimmy Lee Swaggart. The Society of Jesus. Same thing. 71 and 91. And Jesus on the cross at 33 is the common belief in the case of Jimmy Swaggart, dead 33 weeks after the Superior General's birthday. And while he wasn't a Catholic, he was a Protestant. And of course, the Protestants are the enemies of the Catholic Church. He's dead in 2025 in the 225 area code, Baton Rouge. Okay. In light of the big story this weekend being the man supposedly setting fire to lure out firefighters to assassinate them, notice while that's buzzing, then comes back another story connected to Idaho. That was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And now the University of Idaho murders in Moscow, Idaho. The supposed killer, Brian Kohberger, plea deal. So you get this focus on Idaho and then more big news out of Idaho. The last time Idaho was in the news was the Kings Road killing. And don't forget, the day that news broke was on King Charles' 74th birthday. Moscow is 74. Again, the people killed were on Kings Road. But Moscow 1122, it's spelled just like Moscow. Pronounced Moscow, though, if you're out here. Moscow, and the other story that broke on the same day besides the University of Idaho killings was the University of Virginia Cavaliers football player being killed. Both killings happened the day before Sunday, November 13th, but both stories broke November 14th on King Charles's 74th birthday. And the king is 74, killing is 74. When the University of Idaho killings broke, the big lead was that the girls called, or young women called, a man named Jack 10 times late at night. And we talked about the major parallels with the history of people tracing Jack the Ripper to the royal family and the last Jack the Ripper killing in light of these killings on Kings Road. And I'll pull that up again just for people who don't remember. But there's this perfect alignment with King Charles, who had recently become the king. And the last killings by Jack the Ripper were November 9th, 1888. These killings were November 13th, 2022, so 4 days after the anniversary when 4 is associated with death. And remember, it was 4 students killed at 4 a.m. 4 students killed at 4 a.m. 4 days after the anniversary of the last Jack the Ripper killing, when again they said that girls called Jack over and over. The other killing that day was again the University of Virginia Cavaliers. Cavaliers are those who fought for the historical King Charles from the time of the English Civil War. Here's the 74 list right here. You got London Occult Masonic on that list. Again, Gematria, the song Gematria, the killing name by Slipknot. The Virginia Cavaliers killings were in Chesapeake, which is also 74. But here it was. From the anniversary of the Jack the Ripper killing to the Kings Road killings, 134 years and 4 days. King Charles III, 134. And you know what? I just realized something about that. Remember, you just had the No Kings protest in the U.S. on the day of Trump's birthday as he had his military parade, but a lot of people overlooked that in the U.K., they were having the military parade for King Charles. And remember, King Charles' birthday is November 14th, the day after the killings, but the day the news broke. King Charles' birthday leaves 47 days left in the year. And the thing I was going to say about the 134 is that's just a big number with Trump as well. Make America Great Again, 134. One big, beautiful bill act, what is officially called 134. A whole bunch of other things, too. Just Melania, House of Cards. Again, Trump cards or top cards. That was the hit show when he ran for president the first time. Jared Kushner, obviously a big part of the first administration. Other things I'm forgetting right now. But yeah, you know, the spotlight's on Idaho. And then while that's going on, another Idaho story pops up. Just the theme news. And don't forget that he lived in apartment 201. That was also part of the story. And they followed him back to Pennsylvania through Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of the hit show The Office, which ran 201 episodes, where you see the Jesuit prep school flag in a lot of the episodes. The Jesuit order, of course, 201. Joe Biden from Scranton, who sacrificed his son at age 46, 201 days before the first Jesuit Pope's birthday, the first to live in Suite 201, and had the very 201 Jesuit priest do the funeral for Beau Biden at 46, and the inauguration for Joe Biden's number 46 on the 201st day of the nation's age. But yeah, Brian Koberger, I mean. And they say people are furious because he can't be executed. He's doing life in prison. To me, life in prison is worse than being executed. And how many people really want to see somebody killed, even if they did kill their loved ones? I wonder what percentage of humans really want that. The eye for an eye Old Testament thing. It's not like it brings back your loved ones. And then in a sense, you're like, you become partly responsible for their execution. I don't know. Just doesn't seem, I would like to know the stats on that. What percentage of people who've had their loved ones killed want the state to execute them? Now, different story. Like somebody's broken into your house, they're killing your loved ones actively. I think almost everybody would want to kill that person in the moment to stop them from hurting anybody else. But the state execution, again, a bit different. And by the way, I'll remind this too about him living in apartment 201. Capital punishment is 201. And triclavianism, which is part of the Jesuit Order's logo. Hold on, I got to spell it right. Triclavianism, which is part of the Jesuit Order's logo. That's the Roman form of capital punishment, which is how Jesus was how Jesus was killed on the crucifix, crucified. Triclavianism, it's also 93, like how science said that Jesus' crucifixion date is April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. Again, crucifix 93, God's Son 93, Nazareth 93. And April 3rd, remember, Jesus is 34, so is cross. The date can be written 3/4. Jesus Christ is also 43. It can be written 4/3. A lot of stuff is like that in science. It's like, well, is this actually a scientific finding, or is this just more Kabbalistic gematria BS past its scientific authority? That they figured out Jesus' crucifixion date is April 3rd. But yeah, Brian Koberger. And for a little bit more on the Idaho firefighter shootings, new piece of information came my way. Thank you to the people who left it in the comments. The shooting came on the 24th anniversary of the fire department burning the Aryan Nations headquarters. And of course, Coeur d'Alene, one of the most beautiful places in the whole country, probably in the whole world. I mean, Coeur d'Alene's absolutely beautiful if you've never been there. Most people know that it's associated with white supremacists. And don't forget, white supremacist also has the 74 encoding, like how Jesus has been made white, even though his physical description in the Bible is not that. And don't forget, on the 74th birthday of Israel, which is modern day Israel's full of Europeans who don't have anything to do with the biblical Israel, you had the mass shooting in the black neighborhood, synced up with O.J. Simpson's 74th birthday. That was in Buffalo at the Tops. O.J. Simpson, who created kind of a race, a very race-based storyline in the 90s that they called the trial of the century. O.J. Simpson on the Bills, when the Bills left Buffalo for Orchard Park, the town fell apart. But yeah, this fire came on the 24th anniversary, well, yeah, I guess there was a fire. The fire was set, and then the firemen were reportedly shot. But that was on the 24th anniversary of the fire department burning down the Aryan Nation headquarters in the region. And again, the Aryan Nation came out of, the Nazi movement. Hitler was all about the preservation of the Aryan race. But the 24th anniversary, we've seen this for Nazis 24. We've talked about so many times how Operation Paperclip happened on the 201st day of the year. And then exactly 24 years later was the moon landing. And the main scientists responsible for the moon landing were Nazi scientists brought over with Operation Paperclip. And don't forget, Neil Alden Armstrong, 201. First man on the moon on July 20th, 201st day of the year. In 69, the Jesuit Order 69 and 201, the SS were modeled after the Jesuits. If you look up Hitler's birth certificate, you'll see that his name is Adolphus Hitler, which is 201. Again, Operation Paperclip begins on the 201st day of the year. We talked about yesterday how they had the death of the woman from Boulder who was burned. A reminder that the Holocaust means burnt offering, and the Holocaust, the burning of Jews in the history books, again, on the 20th day of the first month, 201, which is also the 201st day of the U.S.'s age, who joined the war at that same time. A lot of 201. A lot of 201. And then out of that came the 201 Nation, and their first prime minister died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. And again, this whole practice of coding numbers into words is Jewish mysticism, which is another 201. The Jesuits were a Catholic-Jewish alliance brought together by Martin Luther through the Protestant Reformation, and he was also a German, Martin Luther. Well, technically Hitler wasn't a German, he was Austrian, but right there next to Germany. Obviously, his infamy is connected to Germany. Infamy, fame in the word. But But yeah, it's just the 24 years again. 24 years from Operation Paperclip to the moon landing, when again it was Nazi scientists like Werner von Braun. And we all know what they did with Elon Musk this year on the 201st day of the nation's age and paying that perfect tribute to Werner von Braun. When Werner von Braun equals 207, Musk did his little salute on the 207th day of his age. Think about the date, July 20th. It can be written 20/7 like 207. Werner von Braun, 201, Jesuits, Nazi history. But yeah, again, like I always say, these rituals that they perform on us, the mass shootings, they're constantly paying tribute to history. And we were already talking about how this shooting was paying tribute to Ruby Ridge. Again, they even had to give you a shooter name who had the pretty much the same initials as Randy Weaver from Ruby Ridge, Wes Rowley. Oh, by the way, check this out. The man who brought the Aryan Nation to Coeur d'Alene was Richard Butler. Butler's also 24. And from his death anniversary, died on the Virgin Mary's birthday, very Catholic date, died September 8th, 2004. 2004 is a bit like 24. From his death anniversary to the shooting was exactly 42 weeks, blamed on Wes Rowley 42, right? Again, they started burning the J's in 42. World War equals 42 like war. That's the year the U.S. joined the war. And the Wes Rowley character was named the day after on the 181st day of the year, the 42nd prime, where everything in the news was 42, as we covered yesterday, including Trump saying, flirting with the idea of tariffs on Japan, another World War II nation who was allied with the SS, but Japan 42. But yeah, you even get this 42 connection with, the historical Richard Butler figure. And the Ruby Ridge connection, in case you forgot, it is the United States of amnesia, and this did happen before Monday. But again, the shooting was 53 days before the anniversary of Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge 53, 134 days after the governor's birthday. Ruby Ridge 134, while, again, Idaho was at the tail end of being 134 years old. These popular YouTubers. Here's a guy that gets a ton of views. Nephew of the Young Turks. But again, these people that get all these views. Listen to what he's about to say right here. This is the trick to being allowed to have big views. You have to legitimize bullshit. Every popular YouTuber legitimizes bullshit. They treat the bullshit like it's completely legitimate. And I just want you to listen real quick to what he says here about this. And it's like, why would that ever be the place where any rational person's mind would be? Just listen very quickly here.
The reason why I'm saying this doesn't add up is because, like, not to say that there isn't, I'm not implying that this is a false flag or something.
There, just already done. Why wouldn't you be implying that? Why would you not be implying that when that's all these things ever are? I mean, if you're not implying that, then you don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty much all we get in the news. And who was known for the false flags? That was the SS too. Remember, the Reichstag fire was blamed on a guy whose name equaled 201. It's a lot like the Reichstag fire in New York on September 11th, where 2 towers became 0 before they became 1. But anyway, again, Ruby Ridge was 33 years ago. We just had an FF in LA where this guy was out walking around on the streets saying absolutely nothing important, but getting a lot of views for it. Remember, 33 years ago in LA, the riots that came out of the beating on 3-3 of Rodney King. Here we are, 92 to 2025. Ruby Ridge was in 92. LA riots in 92. It's 33 years later. FF 33, like police, like federal, like masonry, like secrecy, like order. Oh, by the way, I forgot to write it down. I said, what other big events happened in 1992? Look at this. Biggest news story. Let me see if it'll pull up the same thing it pulled up earlier. You guys ever do a web search and suddenly it pulls up something completely different than what you searched last time? And you're like, wait a minute, I know I searched this the exact same way. Hold on. Hurricane Andrew was a terrible hurricane. That happened that year. Oh, see, it's not. See, when I did this search earlier, it had one more thing on here. It had the European Union, and I caught something. You know how the European Union equals 201? The European Union, 201. What came up, so a document, hold on. When I looked at this the other day, it said the document that was created in 92 that created the European Union, and you'd never believe the gematria of that document. Let me see. Is this it? The Maastricht Treaty? Yeah, this is it. So this is what brought about the European Union. The Maastricht Treaty. Isn't that nice? The European Union, 201-231. The Maastricht Treaty, 201-231. Who else has that is Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, which happened in Europe. So go figure. But yeah, that was in 92 as well, 33 years ago. Might want to think what could happen in light of that in 2025 in Europe with all this pressure from the war going on next door with Russia and Ukraine. And Europe also being big supporters of Israel and what's going on there. So that's something to think about. But yeah, you know, I don't want to say FF. Why wouldn't you? It should actually be the first thing that comes out of your mind anytime there's one of these stories in the news. It should be the first thought everybody has, because that's pretty much what's going on almost every single time without exception. The government has to create the fear, the threat to legitimize, again, the massive police and military state that the United States of America is. And this is the tactic. And why would they stop? It works. Everyone's scared to just like him. He's essentially saying that I don't want to say that because then they'll call me a conspiracy theorist. I want to stay popular on YouTube and live under the wings of my other fellow propagandist family members, the Young Turks. And again, you know, he always gets a lot of views going back and forth with the other video game playing moron, Asmongold TV. They both do the same thing. They just have opposite, you know, one's represent the left wing, the other the right wing, but legitimizing all the bullshit, talking about all the bullshit like it's completely legitimate. And that's what's annoying, too, about being kept small and deleted a bunch of times and now no longer really able to grow at all or get any kind of reach. Imagine had that not happened and we were just allowed to grow. I mean, I'd probably be bigger than both of their channels. They'd be forced to contend with this kind of information, and that's what we need. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be on board. We just need people talking about this. It would be nice if there were millions of people in the world looking into this every day for the first time and even just trying to debunk it. A lot of people who are here are people who try to debunk the work. Derek, who found my work through me talking about rigged sports, he thought it was a bunch of bullshit because he didn't want to accept that his beloved Packers were playing rigged football. And he tried to debunk it, and he realized he couldn't debunk it. The more he looked into it, the more he realized how true it was. And pretty much that would happen to anybody who did a fair investigation of this knowledge. If for people who don't know, a lot of people think I built this calculator. It's not me who built this calculator. It's Derek who built this calculator. I did ask Derek to build this calculator. I had a say in it in that regard, but this is Derek's calculator. Derek came into the work through finding one of my videos back in 2016 and tried to debunk it. And that's exactly why this work needs more exposure. Because I'd contend that anybody with a brain who tried to debunk this work would realize that, wait a minute, this can't be debunked. Another person who's grown a lot, JP Reacts. These are the people that get all the attention. Remember RFK Jr. when he put out his book, The Real Anthony Fauci? There were a lot of elements that he clearly borrowed from my book, the way he set it up, the angles he took, the documentary he put out on it. It almost read more like my book than his actual book. But I just remember in the book, he gives a big credit to JP, this JP guy who gets to go on the news for inspiration. I thought, what in the hell has JP talked about in any of these matters that has anything to do with your book? Absolutely nothing. But again, these are the people that get the attention. And I just want to react to this piece right here, too. And just, you know, now he's going against Candace Owens because Candace Owens has flipped. She's gone from like staunch pro-Republican to almost sounding very liberal and democratic on a lot of issues. Again, all of this stuff's part of the game, and all these people are chosen agents on the world stage. But I just got this came up in my feed, and I was watching this, and I thought, God, this guy is just horrible. Here, I got to listen to this and then just react to everything that he's saying that is wrong. Let's play here.
I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares?
Get dishonorably discharged. Candace Owens' advice to military service members is probably the dumbest, least honorable thing I've ever heard. Welcome back to the JP Rex channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend. This is where we call out lies, hypocrisy, corruption.
I mean, just already, if you have a brain, you know what he said's wrong, but why are people so proud of the U.S. flag, too? I just hate all the people that use the flag as, you know, a sales pitch. I mean, flag on the shirt, flag behind them. Well, for you younger people, you might not realize this, but in the 90s, you didn't see politicians wearing U.S. flag pins on their suits. Now that's pretty much just commonplace. Like everyone has it on their outfit all the time in D.C. You didn't really see that in the 90s and before that. When it became popular is right when 9/11 happened, right when these people were undermining what America was about. The people who were very for the police surveillance state, the Patriot Act, trying to scare the shit out of you every night, saying you need to stay inside because it's an orange alert, and we need this new thing because we got a spy on you here too, and don't worry, if you're not a terrorist, it's not really going to have any impact on your life. These were the people that were coming out with the pins on their suits every night. Look at me, I have an American flag pin, and everything I'm telling you right now is horribly un-American, but I must be very American because there's the flag. But seriously, like, what does the flag represent? This guy'd probably tell you numbers are dumb. Isn't the whole thing like a tribute to numerology? What's the big 13? Isn't it all about the 13 stripes, the 13 colonies? Everyone forgets that we go to slave school for 13 years. 50, it wasn't always 50. That's an interesting number. It's funny how 50 plus 13 is 63, and the Illuminati equals 63. And of course, it was founded with 13 families right before the American Revolution. You know, the other day you have Mom Donnie winning the primary and talking about how he went on a 13-mile walk through New York, which you just know is a total load of shit. At age 33, when these are very Masonic numbers, Masonry equals 33. M's the 13th letter. Every alphabet that has an M, it's used as the first letter for the word Mason. But yeah, the flag. And again, but just beyond all that, what does it represent? I mean, what does that flag represent? Freedom? No, we're one of the least free countries in the world. That's why people are traveling all over the world to experience some freedom. Oh, you want to use some plants? Got to fly over here. You can't get laid in your own life. You got to fly to this part of the world or this part of the world because out there's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have freedom in the U.S. We don't have much freedom at all. You're free to do what you're told. Yeah, it's just, you know, places that have more freedom, there's a lot of tourism for those things. There's nobody that's coming to America to experience some kind of freedom that they can't experience in their own country. So, again, it doesn't represent freedom. It doesn't represent bravery. Our new flag should be like, I don't know, a face muzzle. A human face with a mask on it. Scared of little germs or something, if they can get that in the illustration somehow, a little corona. But yeah, no, seriously, what does the flag represent? What it represents to me is just like killing a whole bunch of people, you know, red for the blood. The red is supposed to be symbolic of the war that was fought for our freedom. Yeah, we do spread a lot of blood. We kill a lot of people. You know, you're not on board with American politics. We'll kill your leader. We'll overthrow your nation too. We'll send the CIA in. And what are we really spreading? Are we spreading freedom and democracy? There's no democracy here. It's been selections since the get. Masonic selections since the get. But, yeah, it just, all the American hurrah just drives me nuts. Like, what are we talking about? What freedom? What bravery? What democracy? It's a republic anyway, democratic republic, but no, we spread fascism. We spread governments that participate with the chosen corporations in the U.S. and essentially the ones that were built with U.S. taxpayer subsidies. We spread fascism. That's why the Roman fasces are on the wall of the House of Representatives. And I hate how again, the reason fascism's going around with 47 is just because of Gematria. That's the only reason that word's spreading right now. It's been fascism here in the U.S. the whole time. Doesn't matter what political party's in there. But hold on. Let's listen to this guy who gets to go on the news, and even RFK Jr. credits his book to him. And anyway, let's listen.
Corruption and help spread the light of truth and freedom because truth conquers. Now, someone who
I hate people say that too. How are you spreading the truth and light? Whatever you just said. How are you doing any of that? You're advocating for a political party that almost single-handedly is responsible for the Patriot Act and the surveillance state we now live in, which is the opposite of everything you just said.
I like Candace Owens. I think she has a lot of great things to say. And I think she said one of the dumbest, least honorable things that a person in America could say while speaking about a potential war with Iran. Obviously, we've bombed their nuclear sites, but obviously there's potential for...
Did we obviously bomb their nuclear sites? I think it's pretty obvious that that's not obvious. We claim that we totally obliterated them. We spent a whole lot of money doing it. It was a major Saturn ritual on a Saturn's day, the sixth planet. There's 6 planes sent that had been at that White Man Air Force Base since 93 when Saturn equals 93. White Man equals 93. Just total ritual, right? 6 B2s. B is the second letter, so 6 2 2s. And then it was Saturday in the U.S. when it happened, but it was already Sunday, June 22nd. When Iran got attacked, as the finals ended with the coach who started with the Crusaders. Again, but we obviously attacked their nuclear. Is it obvious? Or is it more obvious that this is 1984 and we don't really know what's going on? We know we're being taxed and we have to pay for all this stuff. And we know the surveillance state's real. And we know that we'll be harassed by the IRS if we don't pay our taxes. And many of us have had to experience, in some cases, multiple times in our life. Yeah, we know that their bullshit stories cause real consequences in our life. The thing doesn't even really have to exist or be nearly what they're saying it is, like Cooties 19, but there's real consequences from the stories they tell. Isn't it pretty obvious? The one thing that's obvious to me is we let stories really control us. We're told stories when we're little kids about this religion's the best one and you should be in it or you might burn in the fire forever and your government's the greatest and you should just be totally patriotic and put a flag up on your house and just cheer it all along, all the ways it commits atrocity after atrocity. Again, you guys, I mean, here's another news source today, and land of the free, home of the brave. Is this what a land of the free, home of the brave does? Supports a nation that's doing this to other people? Because only the supposed genocide that happened to them in Europe almost 100 years ago now, that's the only one that matters? Doesn't matter about the one that we did to the natives who lived here. Doesn't matter about the one that happened to the Armenians, all the other ones going on in the world. None of those matter. This is the only one that matters from all those years ago, so now they can do this to these people, and we're free and brave because we support it and cheer for it. But if we dare speak against it, we have the ability to be crucified. And you guys, I mean, just think about it. Are college students not being punished in the world right now because they didn't like this and they spoke out about this, and then they were labeled anti-Semites? Isn't that the other thing goes on in the world? That if you criticize this, you're an anti-Semite? Isn't that what America's about? You're an anti-Semite if you criticize anything going on over there. It's like, man, well, I really don't think it's right to ban formula for babies. I don't see how that helps defeat Hamas. No, this is what the red, white, and blue flag reminds me of. You know, the brown people killer. White Man Air Force Base. Anyway, let's come back to this moron.
A forever war with them, which I'm certainly not a fan of. On her video podcast,
let me just rewind a few seconds.
America could say, while speaking about a potential war with Iran, obviously we've bombed their nuclear sites, but obviously there's potential for a forever war with them, which I'm certainly not a fan of. On her video podcast, she was answering a question, and she's encouraging service members, go ahead, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Well,
I've been saying that for years. If you're in the U.S. military, you should get discharged. If you're in the U.S. military, you are a mercenary of a New World Order killing force, and your mind's all full of propaganda. The only reason you think you're doing any good is because you've been lied to and you believe the lies. You're not making anyone freer. None of the wars have made America freer. Every war has made America more enslaved because we're just more enslaved to the banker tyrants who finance these wars. We owe more and more debt with interest on top for every single one of these wars. Tell me which one we ever got freer from. And if you're even going to say the Revolutionary War, I'm going to laugh at you. We didn't get free from London, England. We're still performing all these rituals for the king, like the killing on King's Road. Again, our whole history is fake. We are part of the British Empire, which the sun never sets on because it's all across the world, and that's why we're speaking English here. Again, the people who came to this country originally wanted to speak German. German by a long shot. There's a reason we're speaking English. But yeah, if you're in the U.S. military, you're not doing anything honorable. You're just serving an agenda that is literally evil. Evil.
It's a felony, and it's the least honorable thing service.
See, look at what you just quoted. It's a felony. Well, that's a rule made up by man, and you're going to say it's the least honorable? You know what's not honorable? Serving in the U.S. military, killing brown people in the name of lies to boost the profits, essentially, of the military-industrial complex. Pretty much the only thing you're doing by being in the U.S. military. This guy's a scumbag.
This member could do. I mean, this is what, in my opinion, it sounds like a stupid, uninformed person would say. You don't want to do that.
This is a stupid, uninformed person. This is a stupid, uninformed person. He thinks elections are real. He's advocating for Trump. Trump, what did Trump do the first time around? Oh, that's right. Went along with a total scam from the bankers out of Switzerland and the World Health Organization and printed a bunch of money, costing the American people a lot of wealth, especially those who are approaching retirement age. Well, really everybody, but like I said, people, especially like my dad, who worked their whole life and hardly had anything to show for it, and now all of a sudden their minimal savings are severely devalued. It's morons. These morons. This guy is a total moron.
Like, yeah, don't do that. Like, just don't. Who cares? Get dishonorably discharged. I know she's not a stupid person, but this is a very stupid thing that she said. We'll take a look at.
Candace Owens is also a very stupid person because she's a lot like him. Advocates for the false political system. Sure, she might, her pivot that she's done recently, she might actually sound halfway reasonable on some issues for the first time in her life. Anyone fooled by that is a fool as well. These people are on the world stage for a reason. Like I said the other day, Candace Owens pivoting on issues. She's just doing what keeps a lot of people bouncing back and forth, voting for the Republicans this election, Democrats next one, Republicans, Democrats. Again, two wings of the same bird. This guy, though, makes me sick.
The video clip. We'll take a look at the comments underneath. I didn't see any that weren't highly critical of her. And then we'll take a look at, well, what are the consequences if you get dishonored?
Oh, wow, the sheep herd in America thinks it's a bad idea, too. Who cares what the sheep herd in America thinks? You're talking about the dumbest populace to ever live in the history of Earth when you're talking about the average American. The type of people that fell for 9/11, fell for cooties, fall for all the shit every day, still vote in these clearly rigged selections. It doesn't matter what a populace of morons think about anything. And if you join them just because you want to be part of the herd, it makes you a character on the animal farm.
Honorably discharged. It's a felony. It's just not good. Like, who cares? Well, you should. It's deserting your
His argument there is because it's a felony, you'll have consequences and have to go be in a cage, so that makes it dumb. No, that actually makes it courageous. That actually is bravery, and that's why you shouldn't have this flag behind you, even though it's an empty, false symbol, because it's supposed to be attached to home of the free, land of the brave. See, in his mind, he's like, well, you get in trouble, so that's dumb. No, it's called having some balls, loser.
Your fellow troop members. Last thing I'll say before we take a look at this short clip, there's a time and a place where if you're a soldier involved in a military with a tyrannical regime, yes, there's a time. You hope it never arrives, but there's a time where you put your life.
The only every regime is tyrannical. That's all our country is a tyrant. That's why people don't see it. All we do is bomb brown nations in the name of lies for stock values of Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, Raytheon, all these companies, the ones coming up now, the big tech ones that are part of this military surveillance state, the 201st Detachment created on the day leaving 201 days left in the year. That must have gone around again in the last 2 days. I've had a lot of people reach out. Zach, how come we didn't cover the 201st Detachment? We covered it when it happened on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, which was June 13th, the same day Israel attacked Iran. Anyway, let's continue with more on here.
Life on the line, your honor on the line. You put everything on the line in order to do what's right. That's not a war in the Middle East.
You put everything on the line to do what's right. That would include going to prison because you realize that you made a poor choice and now you're part of a New World Order mercenary killing force. Moron.
That's not the time. The time might be All right, we want you to go point guns at U.S. citizens.
And the U.S. military is being used for that now, aren't they? And maybe he's trying to draw that point right here, since the National Guard, which has become part of the military, was essentially having to go do that in the state of California just recently. And the National Guard's been deployed in Washington State to search for the former military guy who supposedly killed his family in also another 201 ritual. Anyway.
Who maybe they're not being obedient. Yeah, that's maybe the time and place. Just like our founding fathers, they betrayed their country. They didn't do it lightly. Things were bad, and they were willing to risk their lives in the name of...
Things aren't bad right now? Were things worse then than they are right now? I'd have to say probably not. I'd say back then the average family was probably together. They weren't on a whole bunch of pharmaceutical pills. They probably had organic food to eat since that was all that existed. They weren't dying from needless illness. That's also, from what I understand, actually reading about the Revolutionary War from people like Howard Zinn, is most Americans didn't even want to start a war against Britain. They're like, whatever. Somebody's got to govern over me. That's the way of this world, right? Might as well be the king. Or is it going to be some other kings over here? Who am I going to be paying my taxes to? Most people just don't want to participate in war, and they have accepted that that's the way the world is. There's the rulers and those who are ruled over. But yeah, was quality of life worse for Americans back then than it is now? My guess is it wasn't. I think we're probably living at the worst moment in human history. Sure, there are nice little trinkets and conveniences and comforts, but if you look at the way people actually feel about life, just look at all the drugs they're on to keep a halfway sane mind. And just turn on the nightly news. How many of the ads are to save children who are dying from, all these new diseases and cancer that somehow the world of science just can't figure out? They can't figure out why all these children are dying. You need more and more St. Jude's. To me, these are all the things that actually show what the quality of life is right now. And of course, we live in an age where we can't question any of these things, or your social credit score is going to go through the bottom. You want to speak out on social media? You'll lose your platform. No, we live in a really horrible moment right now. You got to be a sellout piece of shit to even be allowed to say anything. Just lie and sit in front of a flag and act like everything's great. Got to be a JP Reacts. This guy's a piece of shit.
What's right? If they didn't win the War of 1776, they would have been absolutely treasonous. So it's like the military code, based on what I know from friends who are in the military, the number one code is you never abandon your troops. You never abandon your brothers and sisters. And Candace Owens' advice is just flippantly like, I don't like this war, so... Yeah.
He's looking at it all wrong. They should all, hand in hand, step down. Say, you know what? It's the information age. The word's out. We don't want to be New World Order mercenaries. Hand in hand, we all quit. That's what they should do. That'd be a real act of courage.
Yeah, if you're in the military, you should get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Well, I care. And I think a lot of patriotic people care. And honestly, I think a lot of people in the military, they care. If you're not a general, it's not yours to say what wars we fight and don't. And I'll be the first to say, I think a lot of the wars are unnecessary. I think there's just corrupt reasons we're in them. But if you're a service member, your duty is to follow orders.
Listen to what he's saying. Listen, so you agree a lot of the wars are wrong and based on corruption, but it's honorable to follow the orders? Oh my God. I mean, I know a lot of these people are propped up by the machine, but seriously, who are watching these idiots and what do they call it? Social media influencers? Who's being influenced by this moron? I know that they're wrong and corrupt, but it's honorable. Because that's your job, to follow orders. Unbelievable.
Whether you agree with them or not, you're not a general making decisions which wars to get into. You're a service member. That's what they signed up for. They're there to follow orders. That's necessary.
I get it now. All of the Nazis were honorable because they followed the orders. I get it now, JP. I got it.
for a strong military. That's necessary for a strong country. Now let's see what Candace Owens had to say as she was answering a viewer's question.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interest of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares?
Who cares? I just like it. Like, oh, you don't like that show? It's not. You don't like her? Stop hanging out with her. Who cares? This isn't really who cares territory.
Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land?
Yeah, maybe who cares isn't the best phrasing, but, you know, even though she's a puppet too, she's more on the right side of this issue.
And you now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right?
I agree. And that wasn't the war of 2020. That was 2003, Iraq. But I agree. You look back and there were military members who lost their lives for zero good reason. I 100% agree with that. Yet her solution to that, just get dishonorably discharged.
So, JP, what would have been worse? Having to go sit in a cell for a while or losing your life in a war that was totally fraudulent? Has a lot of young people now living on the streets, addicted to drugs. What would have been worse, JP? What would have been worse, moron?
I don't agree with that.
They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites.
I doubt that was in their mind. Why are you putting your life on the line? I don't think that's what they were doing it for. Why are you putting your life on the line? For the elites. No, I'm guessing their reason for putting their life on the line, for honor, for God, for America.
Who wouldn't enjoy a little more 5 times in their
All right,
life?
that, I just have to cut it off there. For honor, for God, for America. Who put all those ideas in everyone's head? Wasn't it the elites? I'd say all those ideas came from the elites. That fighting for your nation is honorable. I mean, just how crazy does he sound? He was just like making it seem like it's actually, you know, been all based on corruption, but it's somehow still honorable. It just shows you how much mind control he's under. Or, again, there's a reason he's propped up by the machine, and that's just the line he's got to tell. God, pretty much everyone's understanding of God came from the elites. That's why so many people believe these nonsensical religions that are instrumental in starting the wars. And, yeah, nation, obviously, that idea was formed from elites. This is also making the rounds. Again, a lot of people see Tucker Carlson as this great hero at this day and age. Again, Tucker Carlson's the guy who spent 20 years on TV demonizing people for questioning 9/11 and is one of many people that is responsible for why this nation is where it is today. He sounded a lot like Ted Cruz in this clip in the past. So Tucker Carlson, he might be changing a little bit like Candace Owens too, but these aren't people that anyone should be listening to. These are some of the greatest frauds and propagandists of our time. But yeah, this clip also of Ted Cruz just is a reminder of what a joke it is to be governed over and to have, again, nobody would vote for Ted Cruz. These are selections. There's a reason they keep this moron in there too, but listen to Ted Cruz talk about why he's always down for Israel.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting...
Yeah, it's right at the beginning of the Bible, too. So it's just like, you know, if Ted Cruz would have done 5 minutes of reading and he's going to use this as his stance, you would have just had to read about 5 minutes of the Bible to know where it's at. It's right at the beginning. Genesis means in the beginning. But yeah, let's continue.
Quoting a Bible phrase, you don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two...
Hold on.
I'm not holding on.
Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what? Hold on. Define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
And so is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes. Growing up.
He says yes, Ted Cruz. And the obvious answer is no. Again, modern Israel is where it is because of the Catholic Church, because the Templars used Al-Aqsa Mosque and called it Solomon's Temple, and that's why there's the people that want to blow up Al-Aqsa Mosque and put the third temple there. But yeah, it's just so disingenuous. How could no honest person would say that the established nation of Israel that came out of World War II, well, really even before that, because again, the Hubbard agreement had people going down there before it even got underway, starting in 1933. Putting Europeans there, but again, these aren't the people of biblical Israel, and it's not the same biblical Israel. And even if it was, to me, it still seems insane to use that book for any kind of policy. I mean, especially in a nation that's supposed to, have separation of church and state, which it also clearly doesn't. And America is a whole bunch of hearsay and not a lot of real evidence of anything that it's supposedly about. But yeah, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is also out of Texas. And don't forget that Netanyahu came back on Texas's birthday, December 29th, the Lone Star State for the Lone Star flag. But yeah, these figures that just stay around and just stay stuck in our government forever. The Ted Cruzes, the average person, if you said, give me 10 U.S. politicians you can name, probably the average U.S. person, maybe they don't even know Ted Cruz's name, but for the people that could name 10, Ted Cruz would be on the list. He's one of these characters that's always in the news. And he always kind of comes across as a moron, poor education, poor rhetoric, illogical thoughts. It's all part of the show, though. It's what keeps people going, man, I'm going out to vote Democrat because I can't stand that Republican Party with those Ted Cruz morons. Or, man, AOC, what a libtard. I'm voting Republican. Nobody should be voting for either of these parties. None of them. So, I gotta go get Sweet Girl here in a few minutes. Shout out to Colleen, who sent over $10. I appreciate it. Shout out to Janet, who ordered a copy of Number Games. I appreciate that as well. And it looks like we have one super chatter. We had one yesterday. We got one today. Thank you again, Dale. Dale, come on, man. You're super generous. Dale already sent me a very generous donation today on PayPal, and he is the lone super chatter. Dale, you have done a lot. Thank you very much. But, man, you didn't need to send a super chat, too. I really do appreciate your generosity. Space Invader, another usual suspect. He says, love how he said 49 questions. That's not where I would have gone with 49. Just remember, things like America equal 49, Scottish equals 49, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. 49 is the 33rd composite number. Masonry, secrecy, order, federal, they're all 33. It's a biblical number, too. But I wouldn't have connected it to the 49ers. They are hosting the Super Bowl. You want to start World War III, attack the Super Bowl. All right. I was going to open up the phone line. I really got about 15 minutes for phone calls. It is that 509 number on the screen if you guys want to phone in and share something that's buzzing, something I talked about, something additional to add. Now is the time. Let's see if this system can work without a hitch today. Shout out to John Mendoza, always with the generous $2. Appreciate that, John. Thank you. What's up, 917?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I think it's 71 days since Pope Francis died, to add on to that, the televangelist.
That is true. He did, because he died on the 111th day of the year, like Jorge Mario Bergoglio 111. It's the 182nd day, so must be 71 days later. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also 257 days to his up and coming March. I forget, but it's 257 days to his upcoming birthday, like blood sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I find it very important to still, because Pope Francis is the only public Jesuit pope. So the day he died and his birthday will always, I think, be crucial to the decode. You follow?
Yeah. And Catholic does equal 71. He wasn't a Catholic, but it is interesting that he does die with his 71 connection 71 days after the Pope's death.
Is it 250 days, 257 days to his upcoming birthday? Is it? I'm probably wrong.
Well, it must be if it was 108 days after his last, it'd be 257 days to his upcoming, like blood sacrifice 257. Yeah. And then,
that 108, right? Go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, his name does also equal 91, so the 257 days for his 91st birthday. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, 91. She does a good number as well. Also, what was it? It was the 108, like the rosary beads, the prayers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also something else that I saw that was important. I always forget. Anyhow, it'll come back to me. I'll write it in the chat. But great work as always, Zach. On point, just by the numbers, every day. You're a legend. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Here, while we wait on calls, it's Canada Day today as well. It's Canada's birthday. They'd be 158 years, or they are 158 years old today.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's up? I was just thinking about what you said about Israel. They got doing attack the West Bank. They bombed Gaza. They bombed Syria. They bombed Iran. The only person they didn't bomb yet or attack it was that Israel. For that greater Israel clan.
Yeah.
Or Host Herzl, what's his name, from 1904.
Yeah.
That's the only place they didn't hit yet.
Yeah.
That would be the greatest, but they wanted from the Nile to the, what was it, to the, what's that river? They wanted it from the Nile River to what's the other place? That whole area.
From the river to the sea, they always say.
Yeah, to the river to the sea.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the U.S. would do if it was some nation that we didn't have any strategic need for? If they were banning formula for babies, don't you feel like that would be in the news to demonize? Don't you think we'd be calling them like the axis of evil?
Exactly. It's like, basically, Zach, America, as we know, is going down as we know it. I'm not saying that the world will end, but America, as we know, it's done. It's done with. It's already done with.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, America, as I know it, is a killing machine. That's all I really think of when I think of this country. Just a big killer. That's what I think America is. A big lying killer.
I know, but when we was growing up, Zach, like in the 80s and 90s, America number one, America number one on all the countries, Russia.
But it wasn't really number one. It's only been number one at killing. Even back then, I remember, because back then, if you even read, you'd see like America claims to be number one, but look at where we are in terms of education. Like we'd be like not even in the top 20 in math, science, reading. It's like we've been dumb. We just been saying we're number one. With the dream team, yeah, we were good at basketball. We were good at basketball and killing people. I don't know what else we've been number one in.
I'm just saying that false image of us being number one in everything across the world and everything. Like we supposed to be the savior to everybody. Like we the big brother. We supposed to be for human rights while we treat people bad over here, but we the police of the world and all that stuff like that.
But this has been going on. We've been supporting Israel, and they've been the biggest violators of the Geneva Conventions. It's not like they just got nasty all of a sudden. They've been nasty. They've been doing evil, cruel things and justifying it because of what happened in World War II, which is no justification. It's like, well, the people you're doing this to didn't have anything to do with any of that. It's just worse.
And it's Israel playing, like you said, Israel players in the worst before goddamn World War I.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But if you say anything about what they put out, you conspiracy. This is the information they put out. Well, how many times they said there's 8 million supposed to die? How many times they said that story in the 1890s and the 1910s? How many did they finally happen in the Second World War II?
All right, that started in the end of the 1800s. U.S. papers putting out that 6 million Jays had died in some part of the world. It was told in the papers so many times.
I remember a couple of years ago you did just showing all the articles and stuff. I don't know. You could bring all the articles up just to show these people what it's been in the world. They put it in your face. So a certain amount of people died. Certain amount of people died.
They took down my post on that on my old website. I used to have it on an old post, but it's still in my book, Letters and Numbers. I have all the dates and newspapers that published the 6 million thing way before World War II happened. So anybody who has letters and numbers, it's in there.
So I'm just saying that America as we know it is over with. It's over.
It's been over. The whole 20s. I say it ended as soon as 9/11 happened, because that was the day that I saw, like, it just, I don't know how it wasn't over right then. I mean, a surveillance state. The government can now collect all your data and spy on you. That's not what the country was supposed to be. It's been that way since days after 9/11.
And you heard, let me ask you something. Since Robert, I know how you talk about your mom and RFK. Now he in there. She still don't see the bullshit RFK. You see, he want to put the watchman to get everybody data and stuff. You see that, right? He want to propose that. You saw that he talking about he wants the ban to get everybody health data or something. Did you see that Robert F. Kennedy talking about that?
Yeah. By 2030, I think he said as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that point when you said that the auto places that Israel attacked when they defended themselves. It's like it's all part of your greater Israel plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I'm just waiting till the door they attack us over here, or they're gonna be attacked at that temple. It's either gonna be something gonna happen over here, or that temple. That temple's going down.
Remember, Tisha B'Av falls on the 660.
That temple. I don't know when they're gonna attack that temple.
Tisha B'Av falls on the 666th day of the war. So,
don't you see them attack? Let me ask you a question: is they gonna be a terrorist attack, or they just gonna attack it themselves, or say that Israel, Iran or Hamas did, but Israel.
Nobody's going to want to accept responsibility for that. They'll probably, the way I would see it doing is that they'd say a foreign nation shot it trying to attack Jerusalem. Probably say Iran blew it up.
So one more thing before I get off here with you. So they hit all the other places. When the people in Egypt go happen? That's the only place that they attack, because that Egypt was part of that greater Israel plan. And I want to say part of Saudi Arabia too. I want to say.
Well, Saudi Arabia is the 51st state, so I think they're protected.
You think they're protected?
Yeah. See, that's the thing that's crazy too. That's what annoys me about 9/11, right? They tell you almost all the hijackers are from Saudi Arabia, but they're our ally. It's like
Saudi Arabia, then you go to Iraq.
Yeah.
And advancing the case.
Yeah, it's like, well, wait a minute. Everybody's from Saudi Arabia, so we're gonna. And again, they're our ally. We send a lot of money over there too. And the other thing, 60 Minutes drops.
I think they made a deal. They made a deal with Saudi Arabia after 9/11 or something. So there's something Trump information supposed to come out about that Saudi Arabia, and I think they just hid the information, whatever. They just buried it.
Do you remember when George W. Bush went over to Saudi Arabia?
That was.
Hold on, I'm trying to find. Him and his dad both went over there, but I'm trying to find the image of when his dad, when Bush dressed up like he was one of the Saudis. Google's hiding that image. They're not making that image so prominent like I thought it would just pop up.
That's just his dad. When Trump went over there, they had that golden ball in his first presidency. Trump was over there, so they with that gold. I remember him with that ball thing.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, I got to let a couple more people get in because I got to go get a sweet girl, but appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Okay. All
right. Yeah. Take care, man. See you. All right, hold on. Let me switch this around. So far, it's working. What's up, 480? 480, hello?
Hello. I forgot to tell you, great that Wag the Dog, that caller that called in the other day, and you talked about it, but that Wag the Dog, that's America, like every day.
Yeah,
that's
movie, why it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Did you just see it for the first time?
Yeah, and then I noticed they kept on saying that director that I'm not gonna try to like ruin the movie, but his name's Stanley, and then he's running around Stanley. I'm like, dude, that's Stanley Kubrick. So I looked up, and there's that 12-year-old girl. The 12-year-old girl that got, you know what I mean, in that movie. Stanley Kubrick made his movie Lolita or whatever about a 12-year-old girl that this dude was obsessed with, and that was released on 6/13 of like 1962. But from that day, 6/13 to 12/25, when Wag the Dog was 6 months and 13 days. So it's the same exact, that's just weird that he, and that's it. And that leaves 201 days left in the year, 6/13.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that, so that was also too, but look up that baby that got slammed though in Russia, that Iranian baby, but they're like hardly talking about that dude that slammed that baby on the head in the airport. And then an idea to get more people, like, how you're talking about the Idaho murders, like there's tons of people, like millions of people following it. I think if you did like little like segments on like stuff like that with that and like put it in your header, like Idaho 4 and all that stuff, and then just let them like naturally get involved in the gematria,
Nothing I do reaches anybody anymore. I mean, yeah, I hear the strategy. It's just YouTube's done something. I mean, it's obvious that none of these videos ever get out. It's contained. It's like in a box.
Yeah, I don't know if you make like another YouTube, you know what I mean? Like have another one.
I just tried to make another YouTube channel. I can't get the live streaming thing, and I had to do the YouTube when you create a channel now, they make you do the face recognition thing. So that channel's just I think I'm banned online essentially. This is as much as I can do.
Yeah.
1,000 viewers.
I think the facial recognition, like everyone just needs to get spray paint, like a whole bunch of cans of spray paint, and just load up if they, you know what I mean? Just spray paint all their fucking cameras, and then I think if that happens, like all the cameras all over the freaking United States everywhere, and then if all the troops did just walk out, like that's one way we could like take over our government if they're all just like fuck you and just like walk out,
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's I think should happen too. So, all right. Well, yeah, I was just calling in about that stuff, but yeah, check out that. It's just weird that baby too, but I don't know.
All right.
I don't know if you've seen it or not. All right.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Later.
Somebody says, what do I get if I get on Patreon? I'm thinking all I do, I make all my work free, pretty much news related, because I don't really want to put anything behind a paywall. I ask people to support the Patreon just to support the work. What I do on Patreon every day is for the people who like to follow the sports and sports gamble. But I know that's not everybody. I am thinking about just doing the live streams on Patreon to see how that goes. But I worry if I do that, they might kill my Patreon. That's part of the reason I don't really do the new stuff on Patreon, because they do ban people on there as well. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how's it going, Zach? Real quick, do you know about the USS Liberty?
Yeah, Israel attacked the Liberty.
Oh, okay. I tried looking up a post just to make sure that you had something. So
I had an old post on my website. I think that Google's taking down a lot of posts from my old website, including the one about the newspapers where the other caller just called in. Yeah, the USS Liberty was attacked by Israel, and then again, another thing our ally did to us. And of all days that happened on, it happened on June 8th in the year 67.
Yeah, June 8th. So. Okay. Yeah. I know you got to go, so that's I just had to. I tried, like I said, I tried looking for a post just so I didn't call in, seeming that you already had something. But yeah, that's all I got for today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Dave. Take care.
Okay. Hey, I talk to you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
I gotta show you guys something funny here before I get off. Just about repetitive patterns in history. So today's Canada Day, right? And funny enough, the Blue Jays, the only remaining Canadian team in MLB, they have a major losing record on Canada Day. Do you see how if they lose, they're going to get their 39th loss? We'll see if that happens, but I just want to go over the years and I want you to think about how this could possibly be anything other than evidence of a rigged system. Just notice in Gematria, Canada does have the 39 connection. Of course, they're playing New York this year, which doesn't always happen on Canada Day, but we call New York 39. Remember, New York has a connection to 39 in all 4 base ciphers, NY's 39 with the alphabetic order, New York's 39 with numerology. New York, comma, new NY, like you'd write the destination for the city, is 39 in reverse numerology, and NYC is also 39. Yankees won the World Series, of course, in 39. But look at this. So watch this. We're gonna go through years past. So we're going back to July 1st, 2024. Last year, the Blue Jays stayed on 39 wins. You got to love that the score was 3-1 because Houston equals 31. Big number there with Houston. 2023. Let me see if it happened that year. The Blue Jays got their 39th loss on Canada Day in 2023. Let's go to 2022, July 1st. Didn't happen last year. Didn't happen last year on Canada Day. The Rays did get their 36th loss, though, in the last loss of the series, and we love 36 in Toronto. Toronto equals 36 forwards and backwards. So that did make sense. That was the last game of the series that year. 2021, let's see. Blue Jays, it wasn't possible for them to pick up 39 that year, but look at who stayed on 39 losses. The Mariners, the opponent. So the opponent stayed on 39 losses on Canada Day, and they did pick up their 43rd win. The Blue Jays playing Ontario, which is 43. The year before that, there was no games because of Cootie's 19. That was the year they did Chadwick Boseman dirty. They started the season late. 2019. It wasn't possible that year. They didn't have the 39. You do got to love, though, that they beat America and they beat Kansas City specifically to get their 32nd win. Might have been something to it that year. Kansas City, 32 like America. But hold on. Let's just keep going back and see how many times this 39 thing happened on Canada Day. 2018, the Blue Jays stayed on 39 wins on Canada Day, picking up their 44th loss versus Detroit. Detroit 44, right? Let's go back the year before that, 2017. Let's see. 2017. It wasn't lined up that way that year. So it didn't happen that year. 2016. Blue Jays pick up their 39th loss of the year on Canada Day. 2015. Blue Jays, this year, man, that year they defied the odds. They avoided their 39th loss. Red Sox stayed on 36 wins. Let's see if they played again that year. Is that what it takes to break the pattern? Did they play on Thursday? They did. But it was 36 that year. Toronto's 36. But again, compare how many times it did happen. July 1st, 2014, Blue Jays stay on 39 losses on Canada Day. 2013. It wasn't in the cards that year. It's interesting, though. The Tigers fell to 43-38 in Ontario on Canada Day. Ontario is 43-38. The year before that, here, let's go back another year. July 1st, 2012. Blue Jays, where are they? Blue Jays get their 39th loss. You see what I mean? Do you see what I mean here? Doesn't this seem just way beyond the possibility of being anything other than rigged to make 39 just keep hitting like all these years? I mean, we've gone back over a decade and it happened almost every year. And then just the fact that it could even possibly happen again this year. I mean, and again, you guys, this is also why when you pay attention to this information, how you just see there's super redundant patterns in the numbers. It's just like history keeps repeating itself. And you start to realize, like, wait a minute, who set up this calendar system? Who standardized the English alphabet with the 26 letters at the same time the calendar came out? Again, it all goes back to the Jesuits. And remember, you just had a transition in Canada from one Jesuit-educated leader to another, from Trudeau to Carney. By the numbers. Let me pull up Carney, too. I feel like there was a 39 thing with Carney when we got him. Let's see. Let me see how they did this. He was sworn in 79 days from Trudeau's birthday. Society of Jesus number. Hold on. Let me go back through my post. I feel like there was something 39 about Carney. Oh, here it is right here. Mark Carney announced to replace Trudeau on March 9th. Yeah. Yeah, on 3-9. Yeah. Same Jesuit Masonic Alliance up there that we got down here. So, anyhow, thank you again to everyone who hits the like and the share. We got 248 people watching, 152 likes. If the 90-some of you that didn't hit the like can hit it on the way out, it's supposed to help us reach new people. And the views have been absolutely atrocious here in recent days, you guys. And YouTube ranks your channel worse and worse if it sees that your stuff's not doing worse. So my channel, Candace Owens, has 47,000 people watching right now. Okay. Just to show you guys, recent days, it's like hard to even reach 1,000 views on these shorter videos. 920 views, 567 views, 1.9, 845, 1.3, 2.1, 876, 793, 570. And this never used to happen. We never used to have a video not get at least 1,000 views. No, we're in a bad spot here, you guys. If you guys aren't getting notifications, again, be sure to check on the channel. 261 are watching now. But yeah, I mean, all of these views are pitiful. But not even 1,000. It's a new level of pitiful. So if you guys can help out, if you can make a point to click on the videos, give them a watch. Man, if we could get everybody on the Free to Find Truth app when I went live, man, we need 40-some thousand people watching the live streams. People watching Candace Owens who doesn't know anything about anything. Fetal alcohol syndrome. Is that what they watch? Or they like looking at that fetal alcohol syndrome all day? Her eyes 10 inches apart? Come on, man. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. Till next time, True Sticker.